So concerning the J. Hewat McKenzie miracle, I want to start out by saying that J. Hewat McKenzie was a gullible fraud. His birthday is November 11th, and I call that Gullible Fraud Day. He was gullible because he believed that Houdini was actually walking through walls. And he writes that in this book. This is 2 copies of the same book. This is Spirit Intercourse, 1917 edition, 1916 edition. He was a fraud because he got caught being a fraudulent spiritualist back in those days when that was happening. So my question is, how did this gullible fraud come up with this map? Because in these books, he publishes a map which describes a structure around Earth which he calls the spirit spheres, an inner ring and an outer ring. He says they start at 300 miles above Earth and end at 35,000 miles above Earth. 40 years later, the Van Allen belts were discovered, and it was said to be about 400 miles above Earth to about 36,000 miles above Earth. So these things fluctuate. So 35,580 is about 36,000 miles. So he basically got it exactly right. How did this gullible fraud in 1916 get not only the dimensions, because he doesn't just say the numbers, he says the structure with an inner ring and an outer ring. How did the gullible fraud get these dimensions and the structure exactly right? He says that the 7th layer is the 7th heaven. He says the 3rd layer, which is the outer layer of the inner ring, is Summerland, and there's a gap between the two. He says it begins above Earth's atmosphere. These are all things which were not discovered for 40 years. How did this gullible fraud get this right?